Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to the channel. Now today is a rather special day. I've been given exclusive access to check out the new ID3 by Volkswagen, and there's about 10 differences that you guys need to know, and the last two are probably the most important on this list and directly affect your experience in the car. Now, first thing on this list then guys are two new colours available on the ID3. So first and foremost, this is dark olivine green. Now there's also another one as well called Costa Azul blue. So these are brand new to the ID3 range, which is obviously pretty good, but that's just the start because there's extra things that you guys need to know on the exterior of the car. So let's have a look at these minor differences. For starts, there's the new bonnets that Volkswagen have introduced into the ID3. So if you look at the previous one, they've actually got this black piece at the very top here, and on the new one, it's actually gone and the bonnet made longer. Now also as well, if you look really closely here, you kind of got these air intakes there. Now this has been done on purpose to basically decrease the coefficient drag factor of the car and make it as aerodynamic as possible. And Volkswagen still have the smiley face at the very front of the car. Lastly, if you have a look at the rear lights, you'll notice that on the previous ID3, this part here didn't actually illuminate, it was just a reflector. But if you look at the new ID3, it still has that cross kind of design, but also this part here now illuminates for the back, just kind of completing the rear end look. So, and the final thing I found on the exterior was on this part just here. So on the previous ID3 on selected models, there were kind of like some stickers on the back that kind of had this like wave kind of form going up. But now that's gone, it's now kind of offering a more formal approach to electric in the Volkswagen range. So all that's really good. That's the exterior. What about the interior? So what's changed and improved in here? Here's just a few more. So after a quick drive and of course going through typical UK weather, getting my seat all set up and of course getting my trusty armrest down, I hit the road and of course explored all the new features and things like that I found. And I found a couple. Now there are a couple of things which are similar, and this one thing I do love, if you look at the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal, they have a pause and play button on them, which is really cool. Obviously one for stopping and one for go. They've also kept the gear stick up here as well, which I actually really like. It's very similar to some other car manufacturers. What is slightly different though, there is a start-stop button, but Volkswagen have got this very clever thing that when you have the key in here at the moment, so it's in there, as soon as you go to put your foot on the brake pedal, it just turns on and then you put it into drive and that's it on. Like, there is a traditional start stop button down there, but you genuinely don't need to use it. So yeah, pretty easy, especially if you're in a rush. You just jump in, foot on brake, and away you go pretty much. And yes, here comes the rain, so it might be what you might hear in a second. Oh god, I love that UK weather. Always rains when I go out and film a car. Anyway, on to the other bits. Now, I will say, I have noticed that the interior quality of materials is even better than before. So traditionally, car manufacturers will always have some form of plastics on the inside, unless they're like the top end. But normally with some cars, you'll have like some plastics on things you don't traditionally touch. But actually, I've got to say, the materials in here are even nicer than before now. Certainly all these things here, they're all nice and squidgy and soft. Even the armrests have a nice kind of squidgy feel to them. Seats are nice. Basically everything that you pretty much touch up the top, even along here as well, on the top bit here, pretty much everything you touch is really nice. And I've got to say, it's a really nice place to be. I would not want to be outside right now. Always rains. Us Brits moan about the weather a lot. So what about the next one? Now, next up on the list is a thing called augmented reality on the head-up display. So I think IDs were able to get head-up display before, but now this big box just in there is even bigger than before, and I can see some elements here. So what I'm going to try and do is just move my cameras around and just pop it here. So hopefully I can try and capture it and show it to you, because head-up displays are quite tricky to show on camera. But yeah, I'll show you what it kind of looks like. Right guys, so yes, as I said, I've just moved my cameras around, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this because it's kind of mainly for the driver, but I've kind of put my camera here, so hopefully you can see the head-up display. And basically it'll show you some clever information like the current speed limit for the road, and then the actual speed you're doing, and then how much time you've got until the next turning you need to take if you've got something on the sat nav. So it's pretty cool. And of course on the left hand side will be any kind of like driver assistance features. So very, very similar to the instrument cluster on the screen in front of you behind the steering wheel. But what is very clever is when you get near a turning, so like a roundabout or something like that, where you have like some turning kind of instructions you need to do, when the sat nav would normally talk to you, I've got it muted at the moment, but you'll have some arrows come up on the actual head-up display itself telling you which way to go, which is directly in your line of sight, which really helps with navigating. There we go, approaching the turning. There's those blue arrows just there telling you to turn right at this kind of junction right here. So even though I'm in the middle of the countryside, I won't get lost, allegedly. Now guys, for the next one, it relates to the screen size. Now this screen size here, I'm going to pop this up on the screen, but yes, that's the screen size for this. I have heard rumours that there's a larger one coming out next year, so potentially, you know, if the screen size is really important, it might be worth a waiting for that one. Now, if you did get one at the moment, there is a newer software on this as well, which is pretty good. I believe this is 3.5, so let me just check this. So if we go home screen, apps, and next page, ID software. So it should be, yeah, 3.5. So this is the latest version. Now, I personally haven't used the previous version. I have read online from quite a few people that it was kind of a bit slow and a bit glitchy. I mean, I have not had any issues with this at all. I mean, I've only had the car a short while, but it is nice and responsive depending on what you click on. So yeah, navigation, it will jump straight to it. App drawer, go straight to Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's really quick. So I personally haven't used the previous one, but this one definitely looks fine to me. Now, a few things that were the same. I know a few people mentioned before about the rear window switch, or should I say the lack of. So basically there's your front window switch is there, and then there's a button just in front of it which says rear. And if you press this, it will glow orange, and then you can actually control the rear windows from the same switches. Now, I don't really see that being a problem, to be honest, because I never have anyone sat in the back. So yeah, and to be honest, I can't remember the last time I actually had my windows open, to be honest, because I mean, I just always use air conditioning. So yeah, I mean, that's the same, but I don't see it being an issue, to be honest. It certainly wouldn't put me off buying an ID3. Speaking of aircon, basically underneath the screen you've got these climate control buttons. These are still touch sensitive, so you just tap these, it'll change your control like that. So you've got driver controls and then the passenger controls just on the left hand side. So pretty much all that's the same. So let's move on to the next one. Now guys, this next one that I've heard is actually going to be something called Bi-Directional Charging, or Bi-Directional Power. And it's quite a clever thing that most car electric manufacturers haven't actually done yet. And now I don't think this is out straight away, I think this is coming in the future. But basically it allows you to put power back into the thing that you've taken power out of. So let me explain. Say that you've got your car charging at your house, and then say there's a power cut. In some instances, obviously this depends on lots of things, but you might actually be able to put the power back into the house from your car and use your car as like a power source, which I think is really, really cool, because, you know, just in case you have a power cut, you've got this big battery device there that, well, you can't really use. Now, most of the time with most car manufacturers, this usually goes against their warranty, but it sounds like Volkswagen might have a trick up their sleeve in the future. So kind of watch this space. Lastly as well, on the Pro version, which is very, very good to see, there's a higher speed of charging on the DC charging. So now it can go up to 170 kilowatts and just charge that battery just that little bit quicker. Now, of course, it'll all be thermally managed by the battery management system and cooling and heating and that sort of thing to keep it at optimal temperature. So yeah, looks like Volkswagen are really stepping up their game. So there we go guys, that is 10 differences between the previous ID3 and the new ID3 by Volkswagen. Now if you want to stay in the loop of more Volkswagen content coming soon, check out this playlist right here, as that one's going to take you to all the Volkswagen content I'm covering in the future on my channel. Thanks so much for watching guys, see you soon.